Hello friends, and welcome to another video. Today I will be sharing how I crochet this Huggy, Wuggy, and Kissy Missy hat. My kids absolutely love these. I will list all the materials in the description box below. In one of my previous videos, I did a tutorial on how to make kitty ears hat. And it is the exact same pattern I used to make Kissy Missy and Huggy Wuggy. Here is the kitty ears hat pattern I made, and it's the exact same pattern. I will link the video in the description box below so you can follow the detailed steps on how to make this hat. I will briefly mention how to make the hat if you don't want to look at the whole video, but you simply just make a chain of the size of your choice. I made a chain of 55 for my little girl, and you attach the chain to form a ring, and then you simply make a half double crochet in each chain around, and then you will work in continuous rows. And I made a row of 18 rows total. And then when you get to the very end, you'll flip your project inside out and slip stitch it close. And for my little girl, I made a chain of 55, and for my little boy, I made a chain of 60. So when you put them side by side, you can see that the blue one is a little bit bigger because my little boy is a little older, and it fits him nicely. So you can measure your size and customize it to your preference. So we're going to begin by making the eyes. As you can see, there are 3 rows of black and 1 row of white. I'm going to demonstrate how to make the eyes with a lighter color yarn, since the black yarn is not as visible on camera. So we're going to start off by making 10 single crochets in a magic ring. After you complete your 10 single crochets, go ahead and close your magic ring and slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet and chain 1. My chain 1s do not count as a single crochet. And for round 2, we're going to do an increase in each stitch around. An increase is 2 single crochets in each stitch, completing 20 single crochets for round 2. Here I am approaching the end of round 2, slip stitch to that first single crochet and chain 1. For round 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch and an increase in the second stitch. 1 single crochet and 1 increase all around, completing a total of 30 single crochets for round 3. And once you're done with round 3, just fasten off. For round 4, we are going to attach our white yarn. And all we're doing for this round is 1 single crochet all around. A total of 30 single crochets for round 4. Fasten off and leave a long tail for sewing. Go ahead and make 2. Now it's time to do Huggy Wuggy's or Kissy Missy's famous smile. Now the smile is worked in continuous rounds. We're basically going to form a tube. And this step is pretty tedious, I will admit, but it's definitely worth it. I think Huggy Wuggy's smile is what really makes this hat. So we are going to use our 3mm hook and red acrylic yarn. And we're going to form a magic ring and make 6 single crochets in the magic ring. Once you've done your first row of 6 single crochets, go ahead and close out your magic ring and slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet and chain 1. And from here on out, we are going to work in continuous rounds. Make a total of 80 rows of 6 single crochets in each row. At first, it feels a little weird trying to get a hold of this tiny little piece, but as you continue doing your rounds, it becomes a lot easier. And right here at this point, I think I'm in row 3 already. I will stop right here. I'll stop and I'll flip it inside out so it becomes a lot easier to crochet. So flip your project right side out and just continue making rows of single crochet, 6 single crochet in each row. And I did a total of 80 rows. So go ahead and finish that up and I'll meet you when you're done. Yay, I did my 80 rounds. You can see it's a long tube I formed. And now we're going to simply sew these two ends together. So what you do is you enter your needle in one stitch and then enter it in the middle of that row there at the tip. And you just go back and forth all around, closing it up. Nothing fancy, nothing special. It doesn't have to look tidy. This piece that we're sewing here together, you won't even be able to see it. That's going to be one of the corners of the mouth. So it doesn't have to be fancy or tidy or anything. Just go ahead and close that up. And I'll meet you when you're done. The next step we're going to do here is sew the smile closed. So right there you can see in the hat the lips are sewn together. So we're going to do that on both sides. We're going to do a simple whip stitch back and forth from the top to the bottom. To whip stitch the smile closed, all you have to do is insert your hook, grab a stitch from the bottom there, and exit out the top. Just very simply back and forth, up and down, just closing those two pieces up until you get to the very end. it's time to add the smile to the hat, and we're going to do so by gluing it and sewing it in place. I just eyeballed the smile. I just placed it where I thought it looked nice, right there. So I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue, just a thin line of hot glue, and this will help it hold in place so I can sew it around. But if you wanted to, you can skip the sewing and just add a little bit more hot glue and just glue it in place. But go ahead and just glue it on, and I will show you the next step. Once the glue has cooled down, now I'll show you how to sew around the smile to hold it better in place. I didn't even realize how bright this pink yarn looks on camera. But here, I'll show you with the blue. So what I did is I just did a simple whip stitch around the edging of the smile just to hold it down better. You can see from the inside, it doesn't have to be neat or anything, but you can see the smile kind of just protruding a little bit there. So sewing it around the close edge holds it better in place. But again, gluing it, adding more glue to it can probably hold it down better too. But it's really up to you. So what I do is I just grab the nearest stitch to the edge there. I'm not doing it in the middle of the smile, just on the outer edge of the smile. I'm putting my needle through and just sewing it close to the edge. Just simply going back and forth all around the smile, it'll help hold it down. So just continue going back and forth, and I'll meet you when you're done. Yay, I'm done sewing my smile. And as you can see, the inside doesn't look all that pretty, but who's looking at the inside, right? And again, I'm sorry about the pink and red. It doesn't look this bright in person. It just reflects that way on camera. But here you can see the blue. Just simple stitching. So now it's time to add the eyes. And again, a hot glue is an option to add the eyes. I like to hot glue it in place and then sew it all around. But that's personal preference. You can skip the sewing again and then just glue on the eyes, and you'd be pretty much finished at that point. But from my experience, I feel like when I only glue a small piece like this, over time it'll start to curl at the edges, and I just don't like the way it looks. So I like to glue it in place and then just stitch the edging around, and for me it looks better and it holds better. But that's just my personal preference. You don't have to do it the way I do. But here I glued it in place, and I'm simply going to just sew simple whip stitching back and forth around that last round, the white part of the eye. You just insert your your needle. Insert your needle in and out, just simple back and forth all around that edge. Now it's time to do Kissy Missy's famous eyelashes, and I'm using this black velvet yarn only because it's a lot thicker, but you can use the black acrylic yarn. I would just double strand it just so it looks a little bit thicker. but I'm just eyeballing the 3 lashes she has on each eye. And I made sure to insert my hook behind the whites of the eye, not overlapping it. And as you can see, I'm just kind of randomly choosing 3 random spots to do her lashes. So go ahead and do both eyes, and I'll meet you when you're done. I went ahead and did the other eye. And there we have it, friends. We're all done. I wanted to just flip it inside out real fast so you can see what the inside looks like. And it's not pretty, but no one's looking on the inside. But look at that, friends. We're all done. These make great gifts. They're great for markets. And my kids absolutely love it. Thank you all so much for watching and enjoy making your own. Remember to like, comment, share, and hit that subscribe button. Thank you all. Bye.